Millions could die because of cuts to USAID. USAID, the United States Agency for International Development, has been America's primary vehicle for humanitarian aid and development since 1961. Over the past 2 decades alone, its programs have saved more than 91 million lives across low and middle-income countries, combating HIV and AIDS, malaria, child mortality, and malnutrition. Under the Trump administration, more than 80% of its programs were terminated. The rest are being absorbed into a hollowed-out State Department operation with no clear vision. The administration has admitted foreign aid no longer aligns with its America First agenda. This isn't bureaucratic reshuffling, it's moral abandonment. A Lancet study projects these cuts could cause up to 14 million preventable deaths by 2030. These deaths are not theoretical. They are expected, and they are known by the people making these decisions. The world's major faiths, from Judaism to Islam, Christianity to Buddhism, all say that's not just careless, it's unconscionable. So, when does neglect cross the line into moral or even criminal reckoning? Welcome to the Renaissance Spirit. I'm Scott Layton. Today, we explore whether pulling life-saving aid from the world's poorest is neglect or something far worse. We'll look through the moral frameworks of Judaism, deeply scarred by history, alongside Christian, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, and secular ethics. And we'll ask, if we do this despite knowing the cost, what does that say about us? Judaism's moral compass is forged from memory. When we say never again, we vow that no community will suffer genocide due to indifference or betrayal. The Mishnah teaches, whoever saves a single life is as if they saved an entire world. Yet in 1938 and 39, calls for rescues of Jewish children and refugees were answered with silence, even after Kristallnacht. If great nations stayed silent then, what makes us think they won't now? In Matthew 25, Jesus said clearly, "What you did or didn't do for the least of these, you did for me." Pope Francis has condemned aid cuts as reprehensible. Christian social teaching emphasizes preferential option for the poor, the right to food, shelter, health is fundamental. In Islam, Zakat, almsgiving, is not charity, but the right of the poor. Prophet Muhammad demanded it of all able Muslims. The Quran says, "Let not those who withhold aid think their withholding benefits anyone, but only harms themselves." Hinduism teaches dharma, duty, to relieve suffering, and seva, selfless service, as spiritual discipline. Ahimsa, non-harming, extends beyond individuals to policy. Indifference to catastrophe, in that worldview it's violence. Buddhism calls us to karuna, compassion born of mindfulness, and metta, loving kindness. Ignoring suffering, knowing you could intervene, that's not neutrality, it's pandita, the sin of omission. From Kant's categorical imperative to Singer's effective altruism, we have secular moral grounds too. Not to ask why we help, but how much. And the answer nearly always is, enough to avoid cruelty and keep moral integrity. Jewish history, Kristallnacht, the ghetto, the camps, tells us danger lies in small steps. Neglect, scapegoating, policy silence, media distraction. Today, cuts to humanitarian aid echo earlier moral collapses. If we allow death by neglect under public contract, we normalize it. That opens the door to worse: stateless stripping, exposure to violence, ethnic cleansing, even genocide. So what do? Hold leaders accountable, demand Congress restore USAID funding, support independent monitor NGOs that track hunger zones, choose voters whose moral compass points beyond borders. We answer genocide with rescue, neglect with responsibility, silence with solidarity. Every major faith, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, as well as secular humanism, all unite. Withholding aid at this scale is not a policy choice, it's a moral fissure. Jewish memory reminds us, when we see death and do nothing, we may become instruments of atrocity, but we can choose otherwise. So today, speak, vote, act, because history watches us, and it reminds us that neglect is not passive, it is participation.